Welcome back to Cheche. The government would like to increase the revenues from the mining sector from 1% of GDP to double digits by 2030. The Mining Act of 2016, the new legislative framework governing the industry, governs how that will be done. And so today's guest is Mining CS Dan Kazungu. He's been unpacking, the legislation for us. And so before the break, we were discussing the highlights of the legislation. Where, in your own assessment, do you think that gaps remain?
Odwak, first of all, we are hard at work at the ministry right now to get the legal, regulatory framework, the fiscal regime, data and strategy right, because that's where it starts, and governance and enforcement right, and those are the gaps. And enforcement and compliance, for example, are very critical. Recently, you had the tragedy in Kilifi, where 2 people died in a mine. Recently, you had horror stories of kids, child labor in mines in Kilifi County. We have to beef up our inspectorate and compliance as well. But I think even before that, I think Kenyans will be asking themselves, where are the opportunities for me? And before...
We'll come to opportunities in a moment. You've talked about Mutegi's ranch, my ranch. We'll talk about that.
So that's what we're looking at. First of all, we are hard at work to put the ground solid, end to end, because even as investors come in, we don't want them to cheat us. And by investors, it can start with you, Odwak. I don't want you to cheat me. I don't cheat government. I want you to come in when we have put the table correct, everything's in place, and we can play around the different...
Isn't one of the things you haven't addressed royalties? Because I remember when your predecessor, CS Balala, was here, there was some controversy around that. He was being fought by existing mining companies who claimed that the royalties he was trying to place were too high and not commensurate with industry standards. And so this new legislation doesn't address that. That's still pending.
No. Issues of royalties are not put in legislation, really. It's a guidelines. As a cabinet secretary today, I can go sit down and revise the royalty structure for the country based on many factors. How much are we getting?
But that's still not been revised.
I've looked at it. I've done some revision. I've looked at it critically to align with global standards, but still I think no country should be ashamed to revise their taxation and royalties upwards or downwards, depending on their own interests.
So just a clear answer from you. Where do we stand on the issue of royalties?
Oh, well, it's still a work in progress. In fact, the way I want to do it is I want to do it...
it's still a work in progress.
It's work in progress, and I wanted to pack it as part of that fiscal regime. Not just royalties and taxes, but how much corporate tax do we charge? So you look at holistically that way, and again, we're working with other partners to ensure that when we decide this is the royalty structure, it's not just competitive, but it's attractive as well. But still, we don't end up being cheated out of our minerals. So it's a balancing act, so that it is not a race to the bottom. How much do you cut off your charges?
So you have a study underway.
Exactly. We have engagement with professional companies to ensure that when we get something, it's solid, it's end to end, it's attractive, nobody gets cheated, the investor gets what's you as an investor, because I'm not talking to potential money investors here, you get a good return on investment, but the country also gets its benefit as well. I think that's fair.
We have experts to negotiate these things.
Yes, I have
industries, as you say.
No, I have an engagement.
People.
Yes, I have an engagement. I've started engagement with Deloitte, to look at to help us look at the fiscal, which is this discussion that we're having, to look at global practice as an emerging nascent mining industry. Where should we be? Because we also have to know that we're competing with other jurisdictions as much as we're complementing with other jurisdictions in Africa and in the world. But also we know we need to attract investment, but also we want to know that we also get the best out of what we have. So it's a balance that we have in the discussions, and we'll soon come with something that we know this is.
Now, I'd like to follow up on Mutegi's question, because I believe, I think we recommended when Mr. Balala was here that he go to Botswana, and I think that's happened. And part of the Botswana experience was that they did not have locals who had the technical competence to negotiate their agreements for them, so that when they came to renegotiate, they found out that they had been misadvised and so had been losing a lot, quite a bit over the years. And so do we have the local competence, people with an understanding of this industry who can negotiate on behalf of Kenya?
Okay, first of all, you'll be happy to know that I made that trip to Botswana, to Gaborone, with the assistant the president.
Former President Mohai.
No, I went there with President Uhuru Kenyatta. We met with President Seretse Ian Kama and his government, and I learned a lot. And this is the whole concept of being in control. First, from the mine to market, and the management as well, and enforcement. And yes, you're right. When Botswana started, they had challenges, like most of us. But they managed to put up a policy where, when it comes to strategic investment, they can push the investor to go to a 50-50 deal for them. The diamond opportunity they have in Botswana. It is actually the first De Beers International to go into a deal with the Botswana Mining Corporation, to go into a 50-50 arrangement. Essentially, today, if we found big reserve of mineral, we should be able to...
And that's our question to you. Do we have that?
In the law, we do have. We have the National Mining Corporation, which is right now, by the way, in the process of setting up the National Mining Corporation of Kenya. Part of the, organize the regulatory, the legal and policy framework to ensure that when Mr. Mutegi here wants to invest mining, I am prepared. Either whatever deal he comes, whether he wants to go in as an independent investor or he wants to partner with government. We do have that. And by the way, there's an MOU between Kenya and Botswana for a joint technical cooperation, which it's expiring in November, and I think we want to extend it to learn best practice and good governance from them. And we're putting a joint team, so we can learn from them, because they've done fantastic on that.
We have currently the current Chamber of Mines. We have a Chamber of Mines.
Yes, we do.
Where do they come in?
No, Chamber of Mine is like in the industrial space. It's an industrial space. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Here, these are investors and advocacy for the sector, and they were very influential. But when we were putting together the Mining Act, they are very part of us when they put in the mining regulations. So they work with us. They give us sentiments from industry. We give them sentiments from government and how to regulate and ensure that the country is ready for investment. So we have a constant engagement with them.
Yes, it's important, I think, for the public to explore just the process. If, as you said, on my ranch, I have minerals.
Okay, no. Let's come. We'll come to opportunities in a minute.
I think he has minerals in his ranch.
We'll come to opportunities. Yes, we'll come to
on my land.
Yes, we'll come to opportunities in a minute. But you recognize small-scale miners for the first time. It decriminalizes them. But why, when you create the National Mining Corporation, boards and various other bodies, do we not have this creation of an artisanal body mandated? Why is it made voluntary?
No, it's first of all, the national, the licensing board, which is a mineral rights board. It's called the Mineral Rights Board, MRB, which I'm in the process of constituting right now. Hopefully by end of the month, that we will be having the board. Because right now, by the way, even if Woodwork sends an application right now, we can't process it because the law says that board must be in place. Everything there I can maneuver as a CS, but I need two people who are beyond me. His Excellency the President must appoint the chairman, and the Council of Governors must appoint somebody, one person. Imagine 47 governors to appoint one person to sit on that. That person coming from the Council of Governors, first of all, in my view, should be the champion for artisanal miners, because he comes from the perspective of communities, counties, and that's where you see the bulk of artisanal miners. But also in there, there's a space for one person who has a lot of skill and passion on artisanal miners. So in that board, the licensing board, they will be adequately represented. But as I speak right now, and thanks to the UNCTAD 14 conference, last week I had a discussion with an organization called IGF, Intergovernmental Forum on Mining and Commodities. They are willing to help us do a nationwide study to identify who are these artisanal miners, what are their interests, where are the key issues, how do we help them, how do we, we want to start, in fact from here will be, after this conference, we want to start engaging formally, and other bodies as well. The DFID wants to help us to know these people now, because they're part of us now, and we must do all we can do to help them. And to me, that's one very powerful opportunity we have, to ensure that the mothers and youth in the villages, in the counties, have an opportunity to be part of the mining mainstreaming. So, and I look forward to that.
Okay. So now we come back to the question about ranches.
His ranch.
Yes.
Okay. What do you have in your ranch?
I have something there. Maybe I don't know what it is, but I have something. I'm sure, even sand, you know. But this
there you go.
About bigger things.
Okay, good.
So I have something on my ranch. It's been identified. What is the process? You know, I hear there is application to notify the principal secretary in the ministry, and then maybe I get an investor. What is the share of the royalties? What is the process? That really deep personal thing that every citizen would want to know. Okay, so first of all, dear Kenyan, let me talk to the Kenyan. You want to get interested in mining, and I love that, because one of my key things I want to do, first of all, I want to be aware of mining opportunities, and this is a good platform. Thank you guys for this, because Kenyans need to know this, because if they don't know, they can't take advantage of the opportunities. And you'll be shocked, by the way. I keep talking to leaders at very high levels, and group CEOs. They have no clue about mining, and that's sad, because then it becomes only a clique of people who know that, who can take advantage, and probably maybe more foreigners, like you said. But Kenyans will be coming to your doors, to your counties, and every media outlet to tell you the opportunities mining, and this is probably for you to take advantage. So the next thing is, you know what's going on. The next thing is, you need to make an application, because this thing cannot come if you don't apply. So make an application. Now, what are you applying for? First of all, you could be applying for a trading license. You know, you don't have to go dig in the ground to be mining. I can give you a license to do trading. You can be taking the gemstones of Tsavo or the rubies or Baringo, bring them Nairobi here, or whatever it is. You do your own value addition processing, and then sell them, export them. It can be the gemstone that you do, and therefore you just only need a trading license, and that comes straight to the CS to give you a license. It's 1 year. I can extend it. So it depends again when it comes to what are you looking for. If it's trading license, it could be local, it could be international. I can facilitate that. So you can be a trading license, and maybe if you like. Not the board. And that's why I thought if you could let me just step back to show you the opportunities are there, because Kenyans need to know, where do I play? Because I think that's the first thing. There's the trading license, and then there is the mining. Exactly.
Those
are two things.
So
you're addressing the trading one.
So
anybody can trade.
Exactly. So not anybody, but let me just unpack that for you. This new act, where do I fall? Which opportunities are there for me? Like David was saying, mining is too expensive. Maybe not. Maybe you haven't decided which place do you want to play. So which are the areas, the opportunity for you? Number one, artisanal miners. The artisanal miners now can do many things. They can be either doing precious mineral trading, they can be doing gold trading in their own artisanal way, in Migori, in Kolomani. It could be the women, the youth of Kilifi or Taita Taveta doing their own gemstone extraction and selling. So artisanal miners, we have to create a place for that. So there's a chance for you. Then there's small scale miners, if you like, small and medium scale miners. Today, the fastest check we got from a gold facility is from a small trading, a small scale mining concern. That gave us the biggest check on gold in the country. I don't want to name which one. So there's a space for a small scale or medium scale mining facility that you can develop. And by the way, we must develop these small and medium scale miners today, so tomorrow they become the big one. Udoka could be medium, right? But tomorrow it can be the biggest player in town. Number 3, then the space for the large scale miners, the base titanium, the Bamburi cement, all these things, or the Magadi soda, the fluorspar mines, and all these kind of things. And maybe that's an opportunity for Kenyans to know. There's lots of cement here, there's through limestone, there's a fluorspar, there's titanium. We have all this stuff. So the big boys and girls in mining, the Rio Tintos of this world, the Acacias, the people who we must bring in the country. Number 4, exploration companies. Do you know exploration on itself is big business? You don't have to be the person who actually digs. You guys can be just a concern that just does exploration for a particular given area. You find the data and you sell the data to the guy who actually mines. And by the way,
if you're going to do the survey, you're going to do.
Yes.
Your planes.
Yes.
Why do we need exploration on again?
Well, we are essentially, when you do that, we are giving you data at a high level, but someone needs to go even further down there in Marimanti or in Homer Hills to do further studies. So that way someone can just be doing all that and then sell that information to a guy who actually mines. So there's a space for exploration company as well. Number 5, gemstones and precious minerals. And you know some big names who have made good fortune on gemstones. It's big business. The Baringo ruby is the finest ruby in the world. The Tsavorite in Tsavo and Voi, it's one of the finest green garnet in the world, and it's being sold for millions in international market. And yet here Kenyans have, in fact, they feel like when people are holding stones, they're like, no, that's not genuine business. It's big business. The Sri Lankans here are owning the Tsavorite as their own, and it's our product. So there's a place for you to stay on that. And finally, mining services, and probably that is the place that David can play in a very strong way. We want to create a mining service sector here, which means Udok, that you don't have to go dig in Migori to qualify to be mining. I know probably you don't have the strength to do that, but you can be in Nairobi here and craft financial service, financial packages for the mothers and youth in villages, for them to access funding to do, because they need that for them to operate the business. So financial services. You can be the person doing training and consultancy, organize ways of doing mining in the country, and it can be, you could do those training consultancy for small scale miners, for artisanal miners. Guys, don't use mercury because it's dangerous. Use this other new methods. You know, this kind of thing. So you can be here with the training consultant. You can be the person offering legal services, contractual services for. So and you here. So we want to build that service. You could be the person with provide transport and logistics. You have trucks or lorries, trucks that transport the ore from one place to the place. You are in logistics and transport, or you could be leasing equipment. These people must dig, so they need equipment for that. Or insurance, you could be insuring all these people around, and so you don't have to be. So we want to create a real.
You talked about mine to market, and so in terms of value addition, which remains our challenge on the continent, how then are we adding value to these minerals? Do we do that?
And that's the sad bit. Other countries, Botswana, for example, do you know when they were extracting their diamond, they used to send it to UK for value addition initially, but they said no. All you 20 multinationals, you come down to Gaborone, set up here, we do value addition here. That's a strategy you take. That's a policy direction you make, and it's happening. They come down, and they set up one of the biggest setup I've ever seen. And we can do the same thing in Africa. Here is a sad news. David and Udwak and Mutegi. Every year, Bangkok, from the pundits and industry insights, Bangkok receives $24 billion of precious minerals shipped into Bangkok for value addition.
Thailand.
And in Thailand. And half of those minerals come from Africa. So we're talking $12 billion worth of minerals shipped. What I want to do, and this is the 7th pillar now, is to make Kenya now a regional mining hub, not a smuggling hub, like David said, but trading and value addition. Why should you send all these things to Thailand when the East and Central Africa Commercial, we can ship this to Nairobi legally?
How are you going to do that? Because that's what the money is.
Yes.
Making Nairobi the hub.
Exactly. And that's a project.
First
of all, I want to float a study to see how I can put that legally, so that you don't get accused of past stories that we heard about this type of thing. So you do it, want to ensure that you have a document that gives you.
What do you mean past stories?
Well, you heard of the Golenbach story. Like you're not Kenya, you know these things.
No. I mean, I just want to
I just want to remind you. But you want to do this in a good way, that minerals are brought here legally, so that we have to look at our legal framework. We look at our fiscal regime. So you can easily, like you say, he can come with his sacks of sand into Nairobi here. We do value addition and ship, and that way we create job. And we tell those value addition companies to come and set up in Kenya to do that.
Yes, there's something that I want you to address here.
Go ahead.
Nairobi is the seat of this smuggling you're talking about. Lots of gemstones, minerals are coming from neighboring countries, but it's all black market trade going on. What are you doing to make this a formal market, so that the country can also make some money from it, from taxation properly? And then two, so that, because in that black market there's a lot of criminal activities happening, people being duped, others bringing fake diamonds, and a lot of that is happening. People have lost millions in fake trade.
It's true.
What are you doing to regulate?
First of all, understand the dynamics. What is it? So you don't want just, we know the issues there, but understand it. What do you do? Commission a proper study, go through, understand the issues. Why are we smuggling? Like I say, is it our fiscal regime? Because I talk to people like, look, when you charge me 2% of my small stone, come on, I mean, what am I making? I need to buy food, I need to take my kids to school. 2%, that means I have nothing. So if the issue is the fiscal regime not being attractive, then let's look at that. If two, the reason is, you know what, Makali, you come with your gold here in Nairobi or diamond, the first thing is police on your neck, and what you have there, and they're confiscating everything. So let's look at the legal framework. I mean, what is the penal code? What does it say? Which is why I've already started a discussion with the IG and my colleague CS for Interior. She said, look, we have to look at these laws. Why is it criminal for Makali to bring gold here? And he's bought it legally from a trader somewhere, and he just wants to do an honest job. Yes. So it's about and most of it, by the way, it's colonial, because the colonial masters used to use our administration to say, no, if you see an African with gold, that's criminal. So, and we have that, so we need to get off that, because as long as again you do it overboard. And then
are you going to sort of publish or gazette legitimate, genuine traders in gold, so that there are no conmen around ripping people off?
Get to know the issues and then address this one at a time, so that.
Are there in any case any? You talk like there has been no ministry. There has been a ministry. These things have been happening.
Well.
But you're talking about futuristic things. And what is the status? What is in place?
Well, as we speak right now, like I say, there's a lot of complaint from our fiscal regime. People are saying, no, there's a provision for 2% for my trading, and that to me is the percentage of taxation here is too high. So I will cross over and sell somewhere. So there is that. Then there's the issue of, yes, the way we treat traders coming to the country. It's a concern. People get their things confiscated there, and that's happening, and we must fix that. But again, let's look at not just that, but what other underlying factors are there?
Is there a list of Let me just ask this. Is there a list of genuine traders in gold or minerals, rubies? And where is that list found? Because there are many shops in...
No. You're saying that they're there, and David is asking, are there people whom you vetted and approved and, circulated names, to say these are the people who are bona fide?
So somebody comes from Taita knows, I can check here, I can go to that office, I'll get a proper buyer. I'm not going to be swindled.
Very true. They are there. And today, by the way, David and Duarte, Mr. Mutegi, you can apply to become a gold trading dealer or gemstone trading dealer. You can do local trading, you can do international trading. You can apply, and your application will be looked at in merit. And I think what we have to do now, like I say, is publish this. So this is the list of genuine. Maybe do that publication more and more, and share this information to the public, so people are aware that this one is genuine. Anybody else, I know this one, I have an issue. So we do have that. I think I agree with you. What we need to do is bring this information to the public more and more.
You talked about Mining Institute.
Yes.
What is its role?
Thank you very much on that, because part of the question Uduak and David asked is the issue of capacity building, and how the Botswana example focused on creating their own experts in the field over time, at the policy level, we have made it clear that we will put the National Institute of Mining, which, by the way, will be doing training for geologists, for metallurgists, for mining engineers over time, especially the technical area, cadre, so that we have our own.
Do we offer mining engineering in Kenya?
We do mainly through geology, the Nairobi University Geology Faculty of Geology, but we have a new Jomo Kenyatta University College. They do have the Taita Taveta University College, which is a very solid program on mining. And I think the way the ministry wants to do, the way I want to do it, I want to sit down with my brother C.S. Matiangi to sit down to see how we can find a way to co-opt the Taita Taveta University College and Nairobi University Geology Department to become the center of excellence as National Mining Institute centers. So we want to do that. But even further afield, we have applied as a country, we have put a bid as a country and as a ministry for Kenya to host the Africa Union African Mineral Development Center. This will be, and we have 5 countries that are fighting for that. There's Kenya, there's Zambia, there's Mali, there's Guinea, and there's Sudan. And anybody who wins that, and of course we want Kenya to win, will be the center for policy analyst training on the continent. So David here can go through that college, that institute, and become the policy expert on mining on the continent, right here from there. And it's going to be...
Wish you success.
We need that, all of us. So we'll be training many Kenyans to become... We may not have the uranium or gold, for example, but you could be there to tell the whole Africa, this is how we do it.
Okay.
And I think that that's a way of us becoming a real regional hub for mining, not just for extracting and attracting regional flows, but for capacity building and getting the right kind of people, not just for our consumption in Kenya, but for the whole continent.
Okay, and so let's see what...
Thank you. Wish me well.
Yeah, you already did. Let's see what the success looks like when we come back after this break. This is Cheche. We're live on Citizen TV. Send us your questions about the regulation of the mining industry. Our SMS number is 22422, or you can tweet us using the hashtag Cheche.